Good morning, vinyl community. Hope everybody's doing well. It's James coming back at you with another video. I did not make a video last week. It was just one of those weekends. I just didn't feel up to it. Certainly had the time. I just didn't have the motivation, I guess, to make a video. So apologies to those who were wondering where I was last week. I am committed to this channel, and I've been making a good effort to do something every week. So apologies for not making a video last week, but it did allow me some time to put some thought into what I wanted to do next, and I've been trying to keep the channel interesting and do some different things that, maybe haven't been done that often before. I certainly don't watch all of your channels, but from what I've seen, I think my channel is trying to be varied. So, I guess that's the best I can say, is that I'm trying to do different things. So this week, I thought I would do something a little bit different and not show a music collections video, but rather start a VC thread. And with the thread, what I'm hoping for is some video responses. I'd like to see your responses to this video, and what I'm going to do is show Grails. I resist that word. I've told people who know me well that I'm not a fan of that word. It's just because I think it gets overused. I'm not a religious person per se. It has nothing to do with that. But it's just one of those things where, I think when something is abused a little bit, people tend to overuse the word grail. So I tend not to use it. But for the sake of describing what this is, I will go ahead and use that word. I'm going to show 10 vinyl records that I consider to be among my top grails. There's certainly others that I could have put in here, many others probably, and maybe down the road I'll do another one of these videos if it goes well and people like it. But for now I picked 10 that just popped in my head, that stood out to say, wow, these are records I'm really pleased and proud to have. They're I did pick for this 10, I did pick 10 that are probably a little bit on the rare side, some more so than others. And it doesn't really have that much to do with likability or why I have them or what I paid for them or anything like that. It's just 10 records that are particularly meaningful to me and hard to find. So that's what I decided to do with this one. So with the thread, what I'm hoping for is that you will respond to this video with your own list of grails and show your top however many you want. Doesn't have to be 10. You might only have a small selection of what you consider to be your grail records, and that's completely fine. It could be as few as you want. You might want to just show me your very top grail and something you consider to be your holy grail. If you're not making videos, you can certainly just reply with a comment and just list them out. But if you are making videos, which I know most of my subscribers are making videos, I would really love to see a video response to this. So let's have some fun with it, VC, and I can't wait to see what you have to show all of us who are watching this video. So we'll get right to it. I know my videos have been a little bit long, so I'm going to try to move through these fairly quickly. There's 10 records. I could probably talk about each one of them for a very long time, but I'll resist doing that for the sake of time and just show you the records. Some of them I might pull out if they're color vinyl, or if it's particularly something I want to show a label on or something. But for the most part, I'm just going to show the records, talk about it briefly, and get through it. So here we go. These are in no particular order. I just pulled them out and said these are the 10 that just popped in my head, and said these are the ones that I said, if I'm going to do this for the first time, these are the ones that I would want to show. So first of all, you guys who know me well in the VC for a long time know I'm a huge fan of the band Cocteau Twins. Cocteau Twins are no longer around. They've been broke up 20 years ago probably, I think in the early to mid 90s. And some of their records are hard to find, and this one is probably among the hardest to find. And the first grail I'm going to show you here is their last record, Milk and Kisses. This was their last studio album. This was released, oh gosh, I should have been more prepared, but I think it was in the early 90s, maybe 93, 94, and it is their final studio album. This is, of course, the vinyl copy of it. This is a British copy. I think they were all British copies at the time. I'm not even sure there was an American release of this on vinyl. It was kind of during that time when vinyl records were definitely on their way out. So Milk and Kisses by Cocteau Twins is one of my absolute most proud records to own. I try not to overplay it, because I want to keep it as minty as it is. As you can see, it's in perfect condition. But Cocteau Twins' Milk and Kisses is the first record I'm showing you on my Grail list. So favorite track on this one, believe it or not, is a song. And those of you who know Cocteau Twins, their titles are very obscure and strange, but Calfskin Smack, the last track on side A, is one of my favorite Cocteau Twins songs, and it really gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. So I do have a couple CD versions of this, and at some point I want to do a music collections video of Cocteau Twins, but I'm probably going to have to break it up into parts, because I have a lot of CDs, I have a lot of vinyl, so that would be a really epic video. So look for a Cocteau Twins collections video soon from me. So I hope some of you guys know and like Cocteau Twins, because they are really a fantastic band. So check them guys out if you haven't. Elizabeth Fraser, Robin Guthrie, and Simon Raymond are all doing great things on their own now. Robin is a very famous composer. He does soundtracks. He has many solo albums, and I could do a whole video on him as well. Simon is the head of Bella Union Records in the UK. Elizabeth, the singer in the band, has been the more obscure one. She's the one that's very reclusive, doesn't do much, has never really released much in the way of solo material since the Cocteau Twins broke up, and I think she's quite content to be, you know, kind of in the private sector now. So it's very unfortunate. I'd love for them to do a reunion. There was, you know, some hope, I think it was in 2011, where they were going to do a music festival, and she backed out at the last minute, so it was really upsetting that it didn't happen. But anyway, said I wasn't going to ramble on about bands, but Cocteau Twins, you gotta check them guys out. Okay, second Grail is one of my favorite bands. Again, you guys know my taste pretty well. Those who follow me on Facebook know I'm a big fan of Coldplay. And, you know, I know not everyone's a fan of Coldplay, and most people think it's generic, and, you know, maybe they're not the quality band that I think they are, but I personally find them to be extremely fun to listen to and powerful band. So before their first studio album, Parachutes, they did release an EP called The Blue Room. You can find The Blue Room on now in a box set on 2 7-inch discs, but that was a reissue. The original one came out on kind of a unique, it's kind of a, well, I'll just show it. It's between a 12-inch and a 10-inch, and it's called The Blue Room, of course. I've just mentioned that, and it came in a limited numbered edition on this special sized record, and this is very hard to find. I have number 1923, as you can see, and it consisted of 5 songs that I think 3 of them appeared on Parachutes. Bigger, Stronger, Don't Panic appeared on Parachutes, we know that, and I think that may have been it. See You Soon, High Speed, and Such a Rush are the other 3 songs on this EP that did not appear on Parachutes. And even Bigger, Stronger, and Don't Panic are different versions. They're more acoustic versions, even more so than Parachutes. Wonderful. I mean, this is a proud, proud album to have, and I'm so, so happy to have it. This is an original Parlophone UK. This is before they were big. I mean, this is before Parachutes, this is before Yellow, this is before they blew up, so extremely hard to find this. I have been a Coldplay fan from the very beginning. I found out about Coldplay really pretty much as soon as I heard them. I fell in love with them before Yellow was released as a single, so that's why I have this. This is really hard to find. In fact, I don't think I've seen one on eBay for a long time. So we're already 10 minutes into this video, and I've shown 2 records, so I'm going to leave it at that. But you can get this on a reissue on 2 7-inch discs if you buy the singles box set, but even that's getting a little harder to find. So anyway, Coldplay, The Blue Room EP, Grail number 2. And again, these are in no particular order. The next one is a record I've probably paid I probably paid as much for this record as any in my collection because I had to go somewhere in Europe for it. I think it was, oh God, I don't know if it was Germany. I think it may have been Germany actually, but I've had it for about 4 years now, I think. So I didn't pay as much as it probably goes for now. This is a band that a lot of you may not know, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you do know. This is an Australian band called the Temper Trap, and this is their debut album called Conditions. Absolutely wonderful album. I fell in love with this, and the reason I did is because it was a Coca-Cola commercial. I think it was Coca-Cola. It was either Coke or Pepsi. I'm pretty sure it was Coke. They played the song in the background, Sweet Disposition, as their background music for one of their commercials. And I'm like, who is that? It sounds great. So I did some research on YouTube. You know, it's not that difficult to find out who does this stuff now, and found out who it was, and I just fell in love with them from that moment on. This is a great album. They did release a second album. I have it on color vinyl, a self-titled album. I think it was 3 years after this, 2 or 3 years after this. Also very, very good, but this one is still the stronger of the two albums, and extremely hard to find. I think this was limited to 500 copies on vinyl. It does have a little ding on the corner here, but it does have the original sticker, and it's not I guess it is a gatefold. Let's see here, yeah. It's real thin, so I couldn't tell. Nothing too spectacular in the gatefold, just kind of a collage of different photographs here. But this is an original copy. Of course, there is only 500 of these, so they're all original. And they were on an independent label. I'm not even going to be able to read it. Maybe you guys can read it. I tend not to wear my glasses on these videos because of the glare. And all you see is the glare coming off my glasses. So I'm sorry again if I can't read everything. But anyway, Temper Trap, Conditions, wonderful album. Check it out on CD. You can certainly stream it on Spotify and download it on iTunes. So great album, great band, and I'm looking forward to they're scheduled to release an album in 2015. So can't wait to hear more music from the Temper Trap. Next one is one that you guys are gonna know. This is a guy who won the Grammy for Album of the Year this year for Morning Phase. Beck, and I have not had this very long actually. I bought this last year, I believe in September or so of last year. Got a pretty good deal on it. Didn't break the bank, but as you guys know who know this album, you know it's quite expensive. This is a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab pressing of, God, I'm sorry, Sea Change. There's so much going on in my head when I make these videos, but Sea Change. This is a numbered limited edition. I have number 589. Try to show that if I can. Hopefully the camera picks that up. And this is the colored vinyl. I will pull this one out real quick if you bear with me. Haven't played it that much because I'm almost scared to play this one because it was quite expensive, but it comes on this really wonderful marbleized pink vinyl. And those of you who follow this record know how hard it is and how high in demand this record has become. Even probably more so now that he won the Grammy for Album of the Year for his latest album, Morning Phase. But Sea Change is still, to me, his best record. This is his masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. I played this thing to death on CD. Had it for a long, long time. And, it's just one of those records I just had to have. I'm sure you've all had that feeling. It's like, well, you've got the CD, you've got it memorized. Why are you spending big money for a vinyl copy of it when, it's pretty much going to sit on your shelf. You're not going to play it that much because of the value. I just had to have it. I just had to have it. It's just one of those records that it was just a must-have. It does come with the gatefold. I kept the original outer sleeve. It was very thin, so I put it back. Yeah, I put it in a Blake sleeve, but the gatefold is looking like that. Got a lot of information that I can't read because of my poor eye, my poor vision. And then the back cover here. So anyway, Beck, Sea Change, Mobile Fidelity, pink vinyl. Ultimate grail really for a lot of people, so I almost feel like I want to kiss it when I even hold that record. It's so heavy, and the vinyl quality is so amazing. Those of you who know the Mo5 pressings know what kind of quality goes into those, so just absolutely stunning. Next one up. I've lost count already. I don't know where I'm at. This is a record I also got last year, recently, probably November maybe. Not that long. It took me forever to find a copy of this. I was waiting and waiting and waiting to find one I could afford. And they usually go for stupid money, you know, somewhere in the $200 range, $300 range I've even seen. They're all overseas, because I live in America, as you can figure out with the accent. And I never thought I'd get this. I never thought in a million years I would ever get a copy of this, but I finally got one, and it came, and it's in brilliant condition. I'm so pleased to have it. The last record from the Sundays, Static and Silence. Wonderful album, wonderful band. They only released 3 albums. They released Reading and Arithmetic. Some debate it's Reading and Arithmetic. I don't think it is. I think it's Reading. And then the second album was called Blind. Another glorious album I have on vinyl. Not as hard to find, that one. It's getting harder though. And then there's this one that is extremely hard to find. So pleased to have it. Just a wonderful band. Harriet, the singer, has one of the most stunning voices I've ever heard in music, and it's such a shame that they haven't done anything that I'm aware of since this, solo or otherwise. You know, there's been rumors for a number of years that they're going to get back together, they're going to do something else. They never really officially quit or split, but so far this is it. This is their final record, and hopefully somewhere down the road, maybe something similar like Mazzy Star did last year, maybe they'll come back and do a swan song kind of thing. I sure hope so, because they were fantastic. So anyway, again, just so happy to even hold it, let alone play it. Okay, next up, guys, is a record that many people will know, and it took me a long time to get it again. Kind of goes for big money. There was a reissue at one point. I do have an original copy, but even the reissue goes for big money because it was so limited. It was limited to, I think, 500 copies when they reissued it, and I'm thinking, why? It's such a loved album. Why would they reissue it and only put 500 copies out? But they did. But I do have an original pressing, and I'm so pleased because I think it's one of the greatest albums ever. Even if you don't like this genre, most people who put this record on, CD or otherwise, find it to be very good. There's something for everyone on this record. And this is Moby Play. Absolutely wonderful record. He's never been able to match the magic that this album was able to capture. I love some of his other records, don't get me wrong, but there's something very, very special about this one. And every song on it, it just makes you want to dance, it makes you feel good, it makes you think, it makes you, you know, your ears hear stuff you've never heard before. It was very, very groundbreaking. Just an absolute masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. This is a terrific album that everybody who loves music should check out. Even if you're not a fan of dance music or pop music or electronic beats and things of that nature, I've really got to believe this album would be the exception to the rule. Masterpiece, Moby Play. Okay, next one, I'm gonna give a shout out to a good mate of mine, a good friend of mine in the VC that I've known since the beginning, since I was in the vinyl community, and that's Brett. Brett Helm. How you doing, Brett? This is one I think will make you a little bit jealous. You've seen it before. I've shown you. I think I showed you before I showed anybody. But I can't show this record and not mention your name because I know what this singer means to you, and certainly have the same sentiment when I'm talking about him. One of the greatest voices in rock and roll as far as I'm concerned. He's been around a long time. The former singer of Bauhaus, and that is Peter Murphy, and probably his most elusive piece of vinyl to buy is Cascade. Just a wonderful album. Many people consider this his best work, and for whatever reason there was not, I guess it was just again that time, you know, it was done at the time when vinyl records were just not popular, and it took a long time for me to get this one. And just stumbled across a copy that I could actually afford that didn't bankrupt me, and I'm so happy to have it because this is a glorious record. You know, on the back cover there's a picture of him as a small child, but if you don't know Peter Murphy, you could either check out the music of Bauhaus or you could check out his solo work. It is not my favorite Peter Murphy record. I prefer Holy Smoke. No particular reason other than it's just one of those records that resonates with me a little bit more. but this is no slump. I mean, this is no chump change here. This is a wonderful record. Absolute gorgeous masterpiece, and again, so happy to have a vinyl copy of it. So this is a shout out to you, Brett, and I think another friend of mine in the VC, Lou, who actually named his dog Cascade. I don't know you as well, Lou, but I'm almost certain that it was you who named your pup Cascade because of your love for this record. So shout out to you guys, and I hope you watch the video. Okay, next up is another band that I absolutely adore, and it took a long time to get this. I sound like a broken record, but I've got to go a little bit quicker here, but the band is a favorite of mine from the 90s through today. They're still making music, but it's kind of off and on as a band, and even off and on as solo artists, but that is Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting. And this is a red vinyl copy. I believe this was an Australia-only tour edition. Could be wrong about that. You might have to comment and let me know if this was released anywhere else but Australia. But this particular one did come from Australia, and I believe it's the only place you could buy, at the time, the red copy on vinyl. I'll go ahead and show you that one. It did not come with any special inner sleeve. It's just a plain sleeve. It does come with the IRS label. Oops, sorry. Just, you know, traditional red vinyl. But if you guys have been hunting for this record, you know, not only the red one, but any copy is hard to find. The red one is particularly hard to find, but you know, I'm so happy and so lucky to have it. You know, I am a little bit spoiled, I think, when it comes to finding records. You know, but it does take work, it does take effort, and patience. Patience is the key when you're looking for your Grails, guys, because don't overpay. Some of these people want big money for records, and it's simply not worth it. I was very lucky to get a copy of this for about $60, and I thought that was worth it. I would not have paid, you know, $300. I won't pay $300 for anything. But for $60, I thought, hey, you know, I don't like to talk about price too much. It sounds like people brag or, you know, trying to make something better than it is. But, you know, I'll be honest with this one. I paid $60 for that, and I thought that was reasonable. I do not play that one very often because it is in very nice condition, but I do play my black copy quite a lot. And it sure sounds better on vinyl than it does on CD. This album was not particularly well mixed, unfortunately, in my opinion. Not a great mix on this record in any format, even the cassette. CD, they remastered it, still doesn't sound quite right, but it is a wonderful record, and anybody who knows Concrete Blonde considers this probably their masterpiece. So, Bloodletting, Concrete Blonde, just a wonderful, wonderful record. So that goes on the Grail list. Okay, just two more, guys. We're almost there. This one is a shout out to my very good friend, James Lack. James, how you doing, mate? You know, what can I say? You know, you're such a great friend. I had to show something Paul McCartney because, you know, I know your love of Paul. You're an unwavering fan. You know, just about everything he's ever done, you have something positive to say about. I love your videos, mate, because your enthusiasm, you inspired me to do these videos, you and a few other people, but you in particular, you know, you gave me confidence to do them because your videos are so good. So, shout out to you, mate. Congratulations on 500 subs again. And what I'm going to show from Paul is one that I have sealed and I've never opened, but I haven't had it long. And it's kind of, do I open it? Do I not open it? We've talked about it, mate, and James and I still can't decide. But for now, I'm going to leave it sealed because I don't think it's one I'll play very often. I'm not a big fan of classical music, but this is Paul McCartney Working Classical, one of his classical pieces. A little bit hard to find this one, particularly in Europe. This is really rare. A little bit more common in the US, but for whatever reason in the UK this has become very, very scarce and goes for big money. But this is a double album. I can't tell you much about it because I haven't heard it, but it's just for the collection. You guys can go back to my channel and view my Paul collection. This was not part of that video, even when I made it, what was that, 6-7 weeks ago. So this is an addition to my Paul McCartney collection since I made the video. So I'm so happy to have it. James, you were with me when I bought it, and I was kind of like, oh God, what do I do? Do I buy it? Do I buy it? And yeah, I pulled the trigger, mate, as you know. So I had to show this one for you, James. Paul McCartney. Okay, last one up is a band that I dearly love, and I've talked about in another video, Dead Can Dance. You see the posters on the wall. I've got other posters in my room, and I haven't shown much in the way of Dead Can Dance yet, and I do plan to do a big video at some point about Dead Can Dance. I did focus on some solo stuff from them, but I haven't shown any of their band stuff yet. But I'm going to show this as probably my biggest grail. I said they weren't in order, but this one probably is my biggest grail, I guess you could say. And this is from 2005. This is very limited. There was only 500 of these, and they were sold on tour. It's numbered and it's signed, and this is a pressing from Chicago, October 12th, 2005. And this is untitled, really. It's just Dead Can Dance tour. This is from their tour in 2005, signed here by Brendan Perry, and signed here from Lisa Gerard. I have number 88 to 500. These go for ridiculous money on eBay when you can find one, because people don't want to part with them. This is a vinyl copy, triple vinyl. It's got 3 vinyl records inside. And, well, I'll just pull out one. It was done by a special kind of one-off deal. I've never heard of this before. What was the company that did this? It was The Show, produced by The Show. Now the design is by Envelope 23, or V23, for those 4AD fans. They did solicit Envelope 23 to do the design for this, which I think is stunning. There are lots of CDs. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I have some really special stuff from this. This is the vinyl copy that goes for ridiculous amounts of money, signed by Brendan and Lisa, triple vinyl. I'll show you the labels real quick because they are really cool. Pull that out carefully. Here's one side. Oops, sorry about the glare. And the other side. Let's turn that around. Really, really nice design. As you can see, I've kept it extremely nice. It's, what is it now, 10 years old. Wow, time flies. So I was fortunate enough to go see Dead Can Dance in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Bowl. And this was an online purchase, but it was at the time they were actually sold. This was not an aftermarket sale. I did buy this in 2005. Even before I was really collecting vinyl big time, I bought this. And it comes with this beautiful insert photograph. It's really like photographic paper quality of Lisa and Brendan and the backing band there. And then it's got the track listing on the back. So anyway, that is what I wanted to show you with my special Grail video on to wrap it up with Dead Can Dance. I know they're probably not everyone's cup of tea. You know, they're again, you know, in the effort of time, I won't get into them too much. I do plan something special for Dead Can Dance, so fans of that band can stay tuned. Promise to do something really cool with that, and just so pleased to add this to the Grail list. So kept it in as nice as condition as possible. It does have a little bit of a seam split on the top, nothing too major, but you know, it's 3 records in a relatively thinnish paper cardboard sleeve, so all you can do is put it in a very heavy polythene sleeve and hope for the best. But for 10 years, I think it looks pretty dang good. Okay, guys. So anyway, there's my 10 Grails. I could do a lot more, but you know, these videos, even every time I try to make one short, I just can't do it. So I guess I just give up. 30 minutes again almost. But please, I hope that you will consider making your own Grail response video. I hope you had fun watching this one. And let's have some fun. You know, this is a thread that you can respond to either with a text comment, you know, written comment, or hopefully many of you will decide to do something on similar to what I've done here and show me your Grail list, however many you want. You know, keep it to 10, but 10 or under. No other number than that. So if you want to show 1, show 1. If you want to show 10, show all 10. So have some fun, guys. I look forward to seeing your thread responses. Make sure that you let me know in your comments that you've made a thread response so I don't miss any. And it's not a contest or anything. I'm just trying to do something fun and encourage participation. So hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'm on vacation next week, so maybe I'll film something else. I should have some extra spare time. Can't wait to be away from work and not have all the headaches and worries about that. And until then, I'll leave you with it, and hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy spinning your favorite records, and go hunting down those Grails. Alright, guys, take care. We'll see you real soon. Bye now.